Hey, so you had a question about how to generate a CSV when your query is using add-ons. As you can see by this function stack, it does get a little bit tricky. I'm going to try to walk you through this as best as I can. So first, let me show you my query. So I'm querying my table called the merchants, and I have two add-ons. I have one add-on called deal of merchant, and then I have another add-on called ledger of deal of user. So what I have is I have a merchant table, very simple, and then I have a deals table. A deals table has a relationship a table reference to the merchants table, and then I also have a ledger table which has table references to my deals table and my users table. Okay, so we're stacking those add-ons. We're getting a little bit crazy with it in our query, but that's okay. So let me show you what that output looks like. So we have our merchant, and then we have our deal that is related to this merchant, and this is a list, so this could be more than one deal. And then we have the what user has used this deal. Again, this is a list, so we could have more than one here. I just don't in my test data. Okay, so this is where a little bit of manual labor comes in. You have to get the keys separately for each of your add-ons. So I'm getting the keys from my base get merchant, okay? And then I'm getting the keys from my deal of merchant. And then I'm getting the keys from my ledger of deal of user, okay? So we get all those keys separately. And then we create a variable that merges those three sets of keys together. You may have more than three sets if you have more than three add-ons. It really just depends on the data that you're working with. Okay. And then what we need to do is we need to remove, once we have our keys, we need to remove the key that matches with the name of the add-on. So I have two of those that remove the add-on name from the list of keys. Why do we do that? Well, you might be saying, okay, well, I could just remove the name of the add-on and then that would leave it empty and just merge with the parent data, right? Well, not exactly. So you could do this if we were returning single items. If we were returning single items in our add-ons, that would work perfect, and really nothing else would change as far as creating the CSV is concerned. However, because we have a list, if we enable this merge to parents data option, what happens is we get keys that have the number 0. Okay, so we essentially get a very similar structure either way because we're returning a list. So this will allow us to return a list in our add-ons and continue to create the CSV. Okay, so once we've done this, once we've merged all the keys and then we've removed the keys that match the names of our add-ons, we then create the rows variable, and then we are looping through each of the results from our query as a row. And then what we're doing is we are updating the row variable and we're using the flatten filter. Now let me show you what that does. The flatten filter is designed to take a multi-level array, which is what we have in our row. It will grab the values out of that, essentially. It'll grab the values out of that multi-level object, in this case, and it will flatten them into a single level. Okay, so let me run this and show you what we've got going on here with that. So these are all my values, okay? And if we compare these to, so we have one, and then we have the created at, we have the merchant name, the merchant description, we have the deal amount, and then we have the deal of merchants, and then the user ID and the deal ID, okay? And then we use the same array add to end to add this, to add our flattened values to our row variable. And then we create our CSV, set the headers, and then we spit out our CSV and we're good to go. So let me just run this, and we'll go ahead and download and open this up, and you can see we have, whoops, I've got two of them. We have our CSV. There's all this stuff from our original query, from our query of the merchant table. Here's our first add-on, and here is our second add-on. So again, there is going to have to be some manual labor that happens here with creating your separate values of keys and then merging them together and removing the names of the add-ons, but it is still possible without too much hassle to make this work. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.